Hello everybody, and welcome to this flight today with the iniBuilds A350-900 service from Hong Kong over to Tambo International Airport, if we want to be a little bit specific. Yeah, today's flight will take us 12 hours and 12 minutes. I will sure be taking a nap in between. And the A350 has been out for a little while now. It has gotten its updates, and yeah, we're just gonna take this bird into the air. I've had plenty of attempts at making a video on this. I've scrapped them all because something didn't always go right, or I just didn't like it, or whatever the case may be. I'm hoping that this video will be a little bit better in that regard. We're using the standard stuff as usual. All should be in the description. We're using Beyond ATC. We're using obviously the iniBuilds A350 Hong Kong. All the scenery stuff that we're using is in there. GSX. Anything else specific? I'm not sure. Nothing. I don't think nothing else out of the ordinary. Oh yeah, well, Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. That is what we're using for the first time on this channel. Not the first time I'm ever using it. I'm now got almost 300 hours in it, so it's definitely not the first flight ever. But hopefully this will be the first flight on the channel. Yeah, I'm excited. A lot of things also happened in the past. The 777-200ER released, the 777F for 2024 released, the CSS 737 was supposed to be released, unfortunately did not make it yet. I will definitely be showcasing that. I will not be purchasing it yet. However, I will obviously get the $5 monthly subscription thing, or it's not really a subscription, but you know, like a loan, or not a loan, a renting fee basically, and I'll be showcasing that plane on a video, of course, as well. Anything else? I don't think so. Of course, some scenery here and there came out, which I am excited about, and I will probably be making videos on those as well. But yeah. So without further ado, let's get this airplane started up, shall we? And if there's one thing that iniBuilds is very good at, it is most definitely the modeling and texturing. Although the biggest issue I have with this airplane is that the windows are just too big. They're proportionally too big compared to the real airplane. I'm not sure how they missed that. A bit unfortunate, but yeah, that's how it just is. That means the VR may not be exactly as immersive as it would be in, you know, it's not exactly like in real life. But yeah, whatever, right? Why should a developer care, huh? Anyways. Master switch is off, most likely to normal. The landing gear lever is down. The wipers are off. Batteries, depending on the battery type, could be at least 25 volts. Or I believe 27.1 volts for the other battery type. I keep mixing them up, so I'm not sure if it's the nickel cadmium or the lithium ion batteries, or which have which capacity. I'm not sure, so I'm not gonna pretend I do. It's a pretty much a new thing for me that a plane has two different battery options. It's not something you hear a lot. So with that checked, we can turn on all the batteries. And I just noticed something. I need to bump up the sounds. There we go. And then we can apply external power 1. The auto light is illuminated. And external power 2. Wait for the aircraft self-test to complete. All the systems to power up. I would normally not expect the TCAS standby flag to display like this. can set the ADRSs to nav. And we'll set the cockpit lights as required. Don't really require any lighting. It is early morning in Hong Kong. We're going to turn everything down when it comes to integrity lights. Next up, we would start the laptops if they weren't already started, not simulated. They do everything automatically, so there's nothing we need to start on our own. And what we'll do is we're going to go to the FMS. We're going to verify the NAND database is up to date and selected, which is checked. We'll go to init page and we'll do a company flight plan request, and we'll then insert it. Verify a few things, make sure it's the correct flight number and from to. The rest we'll check later on once we actually do the proper flow. We go back to aircraft status and verify everything once again here. Aircraft type, engine type, idle factors, and performance factors. Can you actually modify those? No. That can be modified. Okay, interesting. Stored routes, we would delete everything. And then we're going to go to secondary index and verify all secondary flight plans are indeed blank. Next we'll go to the ANF system. So we need to go to, technically you just need to go to zoom. And we're going to pop this up. Status, verify the database is also, the active database is up to date, which in this case it is. Next, this is a step that really can't be done in this airplane. It's not really well simulated, and that is the aircraft acceptance. For one, checking the status information or status page, you can see that everything is normal, which in this case should not be, especially since the ADRSs are not aligned, so there should not be any reason why there aren't any status messages. Well, you can already tell, even if the ADRSs are off, so not aligned and selected off, you would see a bunch of status messages, or a plethora of them. Not a bunch, but a few that are correspondent to the ADRSs not being aligned, and iniBuilds have not simulated those, which is a big shame. Another system that's not simulated, of course, is dispatch. I mean, it'd be so cool if they figured out a way to simulate that properly, to have actual failures, MELs, similar to what FSLabs does. That would be the perfect world for me when it comes to aircraft simulation, but I don't think that's ever going to happen when it comes to iniBuilds, or either most developers don't care about it. I mean, if even PMG, who has been in the market for decades, hasn't really innovated in decades, then that's already a big precedent, I think, as well, for what developers really want to do and what they don't want to do. Very unfortunate. So again, status, dispatch, really no reason for me to check logbook, MEL, CDL things. Nothing to check. The airplane is always in perfect conditions. So we're just going to continue. We're not in freezing drizzle, freezing rain, so no special procedures to apply there either. Aircraft configuration is all checked. OEBs have been reviewed, not simulated. Aircraft acceptance therefore is now complete. Next up, we're going to go to the engine fire panel, and we're going to do the engine and APU fire test. And that also works. Flight ops, we're going to do some brief import. We're going to go to ground, and we're going to request the air conditioning unit. And then we're going to go to the takeoff performance page, and we're going to do some preliminary performance calculations. And this is where I'm also not very a fan of this. For one, this is definitely very iniBuilds-like. I'm not sure if they've got this from a certain airline, but the typical Airbus one looks a little bit different. We're going to sync with SimBrief. There's nothing in the FMS really to sync with. We're going to sync the weather, and we're going to verify all this data. Off. Swan air conditioning is going to be off. Unfortunately, there's no optimum that can be used here, and there's no optimum that can be used here. Normally you would use optimum. For our takeoff weight, we're going to put in our estimated takeoff weight, which is 266.3, and we're going to compute. So this gives us flaps 1 plus F, flex 44, 64, 67, 72, and a performance limiting takeoff weight of 332.9, which is well above what we can or need today. Normally, now if we were to go to flaps 2, let's see what we get there for flex. We get 49, 66, 70, 75, performance limiting takeoff weight 349.6. So we've checked that. That's all good to go as well. We'll get the weather ATIS nav accuracy upgrade. I would not expect this message either. Only nav primary, and I would also expect the nav primaries to be independent of each FMC or FMS. And we can now do the before walk-around procedure. Oxygen pressure is checked. Rain repellent is normal. Engine oil quantities, we need to power up the FedEx. We can leave those open. It takes a little while here. That's fine. And you can see this increasing. I don't know why they do that. It's a bit weird. 13.1. Okay. So what do we need? Minimum before engine start is 13 quarts. So we're pretty much at the limit. And that is the only requirement there is. So as long as we're at 13 quarts or higher, we should be good. Which we are, technically speaking. However, we can of course do some maintenance if we needed to. We'll check the hydraulic quantities and we can see that they're also somewhat low. So we can refill those as well. The flaps are up and the indication agrees. Spoilers are disarmed, parking brake is on and checked as well here. Accurate pressure, yellow and green are sufficient. And we can then check the emergency equipment. However, we're going to continue here. We're going to go to load sheet, we're going to sim brief import, and we're going to load our fuel. I'm going to round up to 94,000. I'm going to set the fuel here. And we're going to go to ground. Actually, not ground. We're going to go to maintenance. We're going to service hydraulics. We're going to service engines. There we go. And I guess we're going to replace all batteries. These things are not very realistic either. Batteries seem to drain way too quick. You can see at 16 APU cycles, which means I've technically probably done like 16 flights with this airplane so far. And the batteries are already pretty much dead, which is not. Those batteries last way longer. Same thing goes with hydraulics and oil quantities. It's, yeah, I don't know. We can also check the messages. We can go to AOC. We can check the inboxes. We can check the weather. And the weather here in Hong Kong. 1906 scattered 1009er, and we'll set that as well. 1009er once, twice, and 3 times set. I also would not expect, because we have 2 ICES or ESAs displays, I would not expect the backup scales here to appear. So the IRS-3 here scale, the heading scale, as well as the GPIR 3 coordinates to show up. I would not expect those to show up because that's all available here. So it should just be the standby horizon, or the altitude indicator, the altitude, the indicated airspeed, as well as the QNH. Those are the only, 5 items? 1, 2, 3, 4 items that should be there. We'll check our load sheet. I wish they would do this a bit more realistically. Of course they don't. That's how it is. Reserve fuel weight 172.8. We could technically use real ACARs, but the problem is that this airplane does not do a very good job of receiving those messages, so we're not going to do that. We would then do an emergency entry test request, or request test. Make sure that the emergency exit or emergency code works. Obviously not simulated. Nobody simulates that. I believe CSS may simulate that actually. We'll see how that goes if it's true. And that would be pretty cool if they did. And with that, we can continue to do the overhead scan. We're going to complete the overhead scan and then we're going to request boarding. So everything else here looks good. Just set the captain, so cruise supply on, ground control on. This should be, I believe, a momentary push button, but in the sim it is a, it is not. Everything else checks out. Everything looks good. Resets are all pushed in, not simulated anyways. Strobe auto beacon on. System 2. We'll go system 1 might as well. Auto. Both signs come on. Auto arm. This is set to normal. This is set to 12 o'clock. Purchase select. Everything looks good here. Fuel pumps stay off. We already tested this. Up here, no abnormal lights. All looks good here. Don't have any special cargo, so we'll leave it at 15 degrees. And everything looks good here as well. You can test this, and then if something were to pop up, it would show up in the, I believe, the dispatch page, which is not simulated, so again, it doesn't really matter. And then resets are all pushed in. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to GSX. We shall request boarding. Perfect. You can see the hydraulic pumps automatically trigger once the doors are requested to open, the cargo doors specifically in this case, and it is also the yellow system, similar to the A320. Of course, the hydraulic systems are way different between the two airplanes, but they're both yellow in this case. Okay. We shall continue. Everything's set to auto. Here down. Everything else checks out here on. This all checks out. This looks good. Everything looks good here. Everything normal. System 1 is set. Okay. Put this page to squawk. First officer will set his ACP up. We'll leave that as is. And we will now continue with the FMS. So on the right side, we're going to start with the agency comm page. Go to message record and verify there are no messages. Let's just check no stored messages. Otherwise we would erase it. We'll go to connect page, verify ADSC is set to connected. Normally it depends on the software version. I believe it actually should say armed, but again, that depends on, I believe, on the software version. I can't really say. Because we're technically not connected, we would only arm it. Well, yeah, I'm not sure. Next we go to surveillance page. Make sure that transponder mode is set to standby, which is checked. The rest is as it should be. And then we'll go to the init page and we'll do all the checks now. So level 340, econ mode, consonants 107 is checked. Wind request.
Good morning.
And insert. Go to wind page. You can see that in the cruise. That cruise waypoints now have wind data.
Welcome on board.
Descent and climb are also uploaded, which was checked. Departure, runway, Beacon 25 center.
Hello.
Departure is the pecan and delta. No transition.
Hello.
And we're going to continue with the flight plan here. I'm going to send in the arrival. runway 03, no, 21 right. ILS.
This way.
And insert that. And I realized, did I skip IRS? I did not mean to skip IRS. Check IRS, make sure that our nav mode deviation should be 0.
This way, please.
That's not correctly done there, and the rest looks good as well. We'll go to return, and then we go to departure. And then nav aids. Select any nav aids that we require for the departure, and also don't forget to deselect any nav aids that are serviced as unreliable here in the system. Normally, you would also not see two different, the idents twice. You would not see that. They would consolidate into one. That shouldn't be the case. But if you want to have data, you can check data nav aid, and it will give you some data there. And if we go to return, it should. Okay. Go nav aids. Let me just check the departure routing. It is an RNAV, so I don't expect anything specifically. Oh, it all looks good. So we'll go to return.
Good morning.
Fuel and load. Our 0 fuel weight is 172.8. Enter. Our block fuel is 94 tons. Enter. Max is 302. Enter. And our alternate will be 4.1. Enter. Now you can see, and this is also, I'm very certain about this, incorrect, that the calculations will not commence unless you have a 0 fuel weight CG inserted. In the real unit, it will calculate your extra fuel on board, your time and everything. It will do all the prediction calculations even without the 0 fuel weight CG. So that's something that iniBuilds actually has done incorrectly since the A300 as well, so it's not new. But we're just going to put in a predetermined value of 25% and then it will calculate. But the calculation will not be accurate anyways for now because we still have some things to insert. So for now we're going to return and we're going to go to Takeoff performance page. We're going to insert our preliminary performance data that we've calculated earlier, which was 49, 66, 70, 75. Is that correct? Yep. Flaps 2. Air conditioning off. Anti-ice off. Transition altitude 9,000. 1600 on the engine out acceleration. And otherwise this is also checked. Go to position monitor. Nav primary. Verify. RMP required is checked. EPU is checked. And we'll set in.
Good morning.
Insert. Return. Go to the client page. Make sure set to auto derate, econ mode. If we need to pre-select, we could here. And the rest checks out. Cruise page. Go to step altitudes and CMS if we needed it. I don't think we need it today. Insert and insert, and then we're pretty much already at the flight plan page, so we might as well insert things here as well. We can see our distance 5,907, flight plan says 5,904, 19.6 of flight plan calculated. Let's see, 15.4, so that's fine. And our flight time 10:49, flight plan says 12:12, so that's probably where that comes from. Let's see. I was thinking, is there any data missing? No, there isn't really. I'm not sure why this is off by so much. Let's go to fixed info. If we needed the closest airports or echo time point, we could insert that, but we don't. In fact, actually, I take that back. We might actually need that. We are flying counter space, yes. Oh, we'll go to equitime point. And we're gonna insert
Hello.
RMM and FIMP.
Hello.
We'll also insert the winds for that. You can see the EDP calculated that. There we go.
Hello.
The EDP is calculated. Go to return. Flight plan. Fix info.
Good morning.
Normally this radial here would be grayed out because the first radial is not inserted, and this first radial should be grayed out because there's no fixed info set. Same thing goes for radius, should be grayed out because there's no ref ident set.
Boarding pass. Welcome on board.
Also the calculations are off here. Fix info 2.
Hello.
We're gonna put in our ETP stuff.
Boarding pass, please. Welcome on board. This way, please.
For 6.8 east. Okay, that works. Never mind. Then I take it back. There was a plane that definitely did not work like that, but it should have. Thought it was this one.
Welcome on board. Welcome on board.
All right.
This way, please.
Time. We can also insert some stuff here.
This way, please.
At this point, we go to secondary flight plan. We'll import
Welcome on board.
and import. The secondary will just be the complete flight plan imported. Secondary one we're going to put in our return. So we're going to go flight plan.
Welcome on board. May I see your
And this is a
boarding
bug.
pass?
I'm not sure what this is.
May I see your boarding pass?
Yeah, I don't know.
This way. Good morning. Hello.
Computed. 1 minute. Right turn. 253 is checked. Return. Secondary index. We go to performance page. Go to approach. And we'll insert everything here again.
Hello. Welcome on board. This way, please. Hello.
Alright, secondary index is complete. We'll go to route summary. We'll go to pilot stored. New. Active. I'm going to call this
Good morning.
door. And we're just going to verify that everything here is checked according to our ATC flight plan as well. Okay, that looks good.
Hello.
And with that, we'll go back to the fuel load page and everything is set for our departure. Continue with the scan.
This way, please.
The plan is 5,000. That is set. Set to 100%.
Hello.
and tested it as far as it goes. Obviously not 100% accurately simulated. Everything looks good here. Clan nav, blue, flight director 102, 5000, 1009, and this check with an elevation, but the elevation is checked, and the rest looks good to go. So, even though the first officer would have already done this for us, we're going to go ahead and do a walk around. Just to check a little bit, a few things here and there, just for fun.
Good morning.
Because unlike some developers, there are developers like iniBuilds that actually do take care of their 3D model in the most part, and their tech terrain. And it really does look very good. Basically what is being checked here is verifying that all the antennas, the drain mass, nothing is broken off, nothing looks damaged, and that all the ports and valves are not plugged or anything blocking them. Make sure the lights all work, and make sure the control surfaces are all there, fan blades all are there, and the static ways are all there. So we're going to go ahead and do so. And checking everything is in good condition. The probes all look good and healthy. Wipers look healthy. They're just a little bit dirty is all. Tires look good, and this is a really nice effect here of the tires being compressed like that. Now we're checking the gear wear indicator or brake wear indicators on both, which is checked. Look for any damages on the engine. Verify everything is closed and latched, which it is. Nothing broken. All the surfaces are in good condition. Landing light is in good condition. Heating edge, again, all the hatches are closed as they should be. Nothing is leaking. Light is working, however this is a limitation, or not a limitation, but it's a bug I think with 2024, that you don't see the nav light in daytime. All the leading edge stuff is looking good. You can see the moon. All hatches here are closed. Everything's clear again, static weeks are all there. We'll continue. Again, same thing here. Brake wear indicators look good. Make sure the tires looking in good condition, which they are. Same for these. Leading edge. Static wicks are all there. Light is technically working. Leading edge not damaged. Nope. Leading edge looks good. Landing light looks good. And that is the walk around complete. So I did the departure briefing, got the IFR clearance, fuel is loaded up, and we'll go ahead and do the cockpit preparation checklist.
Cathay 156 Heavy, gate Sierra 31 taxi by Alpha 1, Bravo, Alpha 2, Mike, November, Alpha 5, Papa, Alpha 6, Tango, Sierra 1, Juliet, Whiskey, Juliet 11, Hotel 8, Hotel 7.
Checklist complete. Oh, so we also
Korean 314 Heavy, runway 07 center taxi via Lima, Lima 1, Kilo 4, Juliet 6, Hotel, November, Bravo, Bravo 1, Bravo 2, hold short runway 07 right.
Runway 07 center taxi via Lima, Lima 1, Kilo 4, Juliet 6, Hotel, November, Bravo, Bravo 1, Bravo 2. Hold short runway 07 right, Korean Air 314 Heavy.
And normally, I also need to mention this, normally I would also do the alternate flight plan, but it is not correctly done here. Normally I would see the destination airport at the end of the flight plan destination, so that would be Johannesburg, and then a discontinuity, and then FALE, so Alpha Lima India Echo, airport. So I would be able to do a complete route, but this is not correctly simulated, so I'm skipping that, or I have been skipping that. Now we go to performance, we'll go to takeoff performance, we'll sync this up again. Flaps 2, that's all checked. This time we're going to go 1008, temperature 30. We're going to compute, we're going to send that to the FMS. And then we're going to confirm the speeds, and everything is uplinked and set. The rest is also all checked. Optimum 348 is checked. Cruise 340 is fine. Which is all good to go, and go back to flight plan page.
Mold Cargo 9786 Heavy, request pushback and engine start.
Switch on, and with the A350 you can immediately
Mold Cargo
select the start switch
9786
on.
Heavy, Hong Kong ground, pushback and engine start.
Pushback approved, face north, Connie 615 Heavy.
Issues available. Disconnect the external power. A350 can come on.
Carina 314 Heavy, contact Hong Kong Tower 118
Hong Kong Shuttle 550.
We'll go ahead and request the GSX
Mold Cargo 9786 Heavy, taxi for departure.
Alright, so before start procedures, fuel pumps on from left to right, beacon coming on, lights are all armed. Pressure is checked. Parking brake is still set, nose is to investigate, memo is checked, included before start checklist. Parking brake is on, takeoff speeds and thrust are set. Lines are armed, nose to investigate, memo is checked, check is completed.
Commencing push. All engines are clear. Start at will.
Start. Running 1. Running 2. Trim is set. Up, down, control, left, right, control, rudder, left, right, control. After start checklist. Anti-ice off. Flight controls checked. Ground equipment is clear. Checklist complete. We're clear to taxi. Taxi light coming on. Parking brake released. And the airplane starts rolling a little bit on its own, but we're going to give it a little bit of thrust. Brakes, check. Alright, so we're reaching the departure runway. Just note that Beyond ATC is using the opposite runway, which is incorrect. Even in the real world, they're using runway 25 at the moment, so... and the winds favor runway 25, so I'm not sure why Beyond ATC went with runway 07. I'm ignoring it, so if you see airplanes departing on the opposite way, that's just I guess, a limitation. So, line up, flow. Line up checklist. Cabin has been advised. Tail runway. Max 1 and 2 off with 2 checklist. No cruise seat for departure. Alright. Lights. Camera. And action 25% initially. Those spools up a little bit too fast. Flights 49 SRS runway, out of thrust blue. Thrust is set. Knots.
V1.
Rotate. Mod rate. Here's coming up. Nav. Thrust D-rate climb on a thrust. Back one. And back two. One. 5-0. Alright, so we are reaching our top of descent. So we're going to go ahead and plan everything out, check the weather, all that good stuff. First things first, our top of descent is in 126 nautical miles. Our airport is 275 nautical miles away. We just want to verify that those make sense. You can calculate a rough glide path with that, and I do think that's good. We're going to go here and update our weather. Unfortunately, auto update does not work, but that's fine. At least it doesn't seem to work. So 210 at 16 knots, or it's definitely still running runway 21. I'll switch it over to runway 21 left, because that's what they're using in real life at the moment. I am going to set up my charts here momentarily. Alright, and we're going to pre-select our QNH 1021. That is done. We check the status page and status more page if there was anything, but everything is normal, so nothing that we need to worry about today. I'm going to go ahead and do a landing calculation. I'm going to sync the FMS, sync the weather, and I'm just going to go with medium just in case we need to do that. Full 191.5, that's all checked and compute, and see what our stop margin is, which is checked. We're of course using VTV, or at least we'll try. We'll see what if it works today. So I've already planned in with the approach. I'm going to go to fixed information page. I'm going to clear the ETOPS entries. That's also bugged. This all checks out. Transition level at ATC, we're going to go 9 or 0. We're using dry. Plug that in. You can confirm dry. Now we're going to go into plan and zoom. Landing elevation is checked. And then I would do the approach briefing, let the passengers know about our descent into Johannesburg, and so on and so forth. So we'll see you down on the approach.
$2,500. 1000. 500. 400. 100 of 800. Minimum
Continue.
200. 100, 90, 80, 70, 60, 50, 40, 30, 20,
Retard.
10, 5,
Close reverse screen, decel VTV. Only doing idle reverse. and welcome to Johannesburg. What a lovely flight. Pretty decent landing considering how weird this plane flies. So unfortunately the replay didn't work, so I can't do a landing replay. However, I might add the takeoff replay for the video, we'll see. Thank you guys so much for watching, hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you all in the next video. Until then, peace!